Hello everybody, welcome to BSing Around, channel about nothing, so I can do anything. Today I want to show you the inside of a car audio Legend. I have had for a long time this, which is my old school Soundstream Reference 405 amplifier. This has been what I've used in my, past three cars. Just pulled it out of my Toyota pickup. I was running this in my video that I did called Presidential Dance Party, where I took my truck out and was flexing subs to get the coins to bounce on the roof, and just wasn't getting the power output. Portable lamp is just starting to lose power. I've lost some of the channels on it, and it's just no longer doing what it's supposed to do. I'm probably going to hang it on the wall and use it for yard art, since mine is in such great condition. I mean, for an amp in the 90s, from the 90s, it is in really, really good shape. Considering I see pictures on Craigslist and Facebook for sale of amps that are only 6 months old. They're all scarred up and battle worn because they're just sliding around in people's trunks because they don't mount them right. This guy is a really clean looking survivor. So today I figured I'd open up the case, let you guys see the inside of it. I've been watching a lot of these amp gut videos on here on YouTube, and I thought I would share the inside of one of these reference amps. This is the Reference 405. Like I said, it is from the 90s. I acquired it about 10 years ago and have been using it. When I got it, it was dead on arrival. Bought it secondhand off of a guy on eBay, and when I received it, it did not work, so I put it in the shop and had it repaired. Now, to remove the case, it's 4 little Torx bits. Just remove those. There's 2 on either side. Then once we do that, I'm going to pick the camera up here. This is the underside of the amp here. So you have your different little switches here. They're, I call them dip switches, but they're just giant toggle switches that you use to help tell the amp what it is you want it to do. So on your sub channel, do you need it to be bypassed or low pass? I was using it in low pass. Are we entering in on a sub channel RCA in, or we using channel 1 through 4 as far as the inputs on the RCAs located on the front? And then you adjust those how you want them. You had your fuses. This one up here, if you're running it and you're below 1 ohm, you're going to clip it over to high current. Otherwise, you're running on a high power. I was running actually 2 ohm. So that's where that is. And then over here, just telling channels 3 and 4 how you wanted them to operate, and you'd adjust the switches accordingly. Amp was always kind of finicky. It seemed like if you ever got this wrong, and especially if you switched that while it was running or while it was powered up, bad things happened to these guys. So you just had to be careful with them. Had to definitely follow all your proper protocol. Now this is the inside of our amp. Just a lot of electronics. You got to remember, this is from the 90s, back when you would go in and you would buy yourself an amplifier, and it would be 3 feet long and claiming 500 watts or 1,000 watts. And if you ever open it up, it would have a circuit board about this big here, and then you'd have your power output, and then you'd have a little wire ran over to the other side here that had your RCA inputs, and then a steel plate here to balance out the weight. So in the 90s, it was not uncommon, especially if you're buying no-name brand amps, like a lot of people were, to have this giant surfboard amp, to open it up and there'd be nothing inside of it, short of this area here. So for the fact that this guy was truly a very well-engineered amplifier, has just tons and tons of capacitors and resistors, and if you look on the underside of this amp, and I'll show you, I had this out earlier, and this is kind of a reshoot, where every one of these little FET rectifiers are pictured. There's one actually on the other side of the board. So when you're talking about your power supply or your amps, your MOSFET amps, there were a ton of them. I mean, look at this bank of them right here. Okay, so there was a ton of these things in there. So the 1500 watt chassis sync there. I don't know. So you just had tons and tons of amplifier in this little amp, which allowed is why it was able to go down to half ohm, quarter ohm loads and produce ridiculous amount of powers. Now, not to say that it survived for a long time. I knew a handful of people that owned these amps, and like mine, they were usually broke before too long. So I've always considered them to be relatively fragile amps, although they were amazing. But this is where the front side, and Soundstream has re-released a Ruby series amp, in the last 8 or 9 years that mimicked this one in style, as far as putting all the controls and everything down on the front edge and such, and made it blue, made it look like the old reference amps. But they just haven't really put back in the actual, I don't know, umph that these amps had. I mean, it was truly amazing. Okay, I removed the board from the amp and flipped it over. I did this so, as you can see, on the back side is where all of your little MOSFET amplifiers are. And of course, they're mounted on the back side, and they're using all this gooey paste in order to help them transfer their heat to the chassis as a heat sink. So this is the back side of the amp. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed seeing the inside of my Reference 405 amp by Soundstream. Like I said, these guys came out in the 90s. I acquired it a little over 10 years ago and been using it. I'll be replacing it with something different here in the future. I'm going to bring you guys along as I do that. Build on my Toyota pickup. I'm going to be reconfiguring the audio system in that. I'm going to maintain the 4 6-inch subs that I run from JL Audio. I'm going to be adding another set of components to the front doors to give me probably a pair of 5 1/4 in each door instead of just singles. And I'm going to be doing some custom door panel work, reconfiguring. I'm going to have to come up with an amp rack because I'm going to go to a 2 amp setup. So there's going to be a lot of work being done on that. I'm going to bring all that to you as I do it, as well as I hope to be doing some work on my Ford Fiesta ST that I have, plus just some goofing around videos. I've got a set of golf clubs that I plan on smashing some food with in slow motion, if I can get that to take. Just anything that I can think of that I think would be fun to do, I want to share with you. And that's what this channel is going to be about, is just things that make me tick, things that I enjoy, I find humorous or funny or interesting, and I'm going to bring it to you. So please like and subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching.